If someone is in a position where they are finding it hard to handle life, they could believe that there is something inherently wrong with them. They could often see themselves as useless, incapable, and even stupid. Unlike perhaps the people in their life who have it together, or at the very least appear to, they won't have been able to get it together. This can mean that they will also have moments when they will see themselves as a failure and lack what others have. When it comes to their life then, they might not have a job, or they could have a job that they can't stand. Alternatively, they could have a job that they enjoy, but they may have been at the same level for years. Either way, when it comes to changing what is going on, they might not feel comfortable doing anything about it. What could enter their mind when they think about doing so is that they don't have what it takes, and that it is not possible for them to move forward. When they are not working, and even when they are, they could often be filled with anxiety. This will mean that they will rarely feel at ease, making it hard for them to perform at their best at work and recharge when they are not working. If they are not anxious, they could be in a disconnected state and unable to connect to what is taking place inside them. What is clear is that they are not going to have a very pleasant experience on this earth. By being so unsettled, it is likely that they will find it hard to sleep at night, which will also deprive them of the energy that they need. It is then not going to be a surprise if they do find it hard to concentrate, remember things, and focus during the day. Additionally, they might not eat the right foods, and thereby be depriving themselves of the essential nutrients that they need. And if they do exercise, it could be something that they only do every now and then. Now, after getting to the point where they are unable to handle living in this way any longer, they could end up reaching out for support. This could end up being a time when they will end up being seen as having a mental illness, or they could be seen as suffering from at least one mental health issue. What this could do is provide them with a sense of relief, as there will now be a reason as to why they have suffered for so long. After this, they could end up being offered medication and have the chance to work with a mind-based therapist, for instance. But to take a step back for a moment, this whole approach can reinforce the view that they have of themselves as having something inherently wrong with them. Before, it would have been seen as something that they were convinced of, and now, as a result of being diagnosed, it can be seen by them as something that is the truth. Thus, it won't matter if the person who diagnosed them had this intention, as they will have indirectly fed into and validated their initial view of themselves. Regardless of if they do or don't end up going on medication and purely focusing on changing what is taking place in their mind and their behaviour, there is a strong chance that there is nothing inherently wrong with them. And even if they are diagnosed by an expert as having some kind of disorder, it doesn't mean that this means that there is anything abnormal about them. The reason for this is that what has been and is going on for them is likely to be a reflection of what took place during their formative years, and even when they were in their mother's womb. During this stage of their life, they may have been deprived of the love that they needed to grow and develop in the right way. This could show that they were often left, and they may have been physically harmed and verbally put down. The outcome of this is that their developmental needs would have seldom been met, and they would have been deeply traumatized in the process. Instead of being able to develop a strong and integrated system, they would have ended up with a weak and fractured system. the years would have passed, and what took place would have been forgotten about by their conscious mind, and perhaps not taken into account by others, and they would have seen themselves as not being able to get it together, due to them being weak, incapable, lacking willpower, and/or courage, for instance. Ultimately, they would have had a brutal developmental period and missed out on what they needed. So what would be abnormal as if they could function as an adult? How they are as an adult will be a perfectly normal response to the deprivation that they experienced. And, in all likelihood, if it wasn't for what those who can handle life received during their formative years, and when they were in their mother's womb, they wouldn't be in the same position. So, if one does experience a lot of shame about not being able to get it together and function, and part of them often criticizes them, they can at least consider that this feeling and the critical thoughts that they experience don't reflect the truth. With that said, if you are in a position where you are finding it hard to get it together and function, and your early years were brutal, then how you are experiencing life now will be normal. As I've said, it will be a natural response to the deprivation and the trauma that you experienced very early on. So while you may experience shame and feel like a failure, or see yourself as lacking courage, or willpower, or being stupid or incapable, this is not the truth. The truth is that you had a brutal developmental period, and this stopped you from being able to grow and develop in the right way, from being able to be an integrated and together human being. So all the criticism that your inner critic may level at you and how other people may have responded to you over the years is not accurate. It doesn't reflect the truth. And based on what you have been through, you deserve your own compassion, your own kindness, because if you had received what you needed, then there would be no reason for you to be in this position. And so the main thing is that you reach out for the assistance that you need to gradually change your life so that you can go from someone who feels as though they can't handle life and who is fractured to someone who is more integrated, feels stronger, and knows that they can handle life. And of course, this is not going to happen overnight. This will take time. It can take many months, many years. But the main thing is that you take the first step, if you haven't already, so that you can gradually move forward. So please reach out for the assistance that you need to gradually change your life. If you'd like to find out more about the services that I offer, please go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk, and I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.